We're on. Lights, camera, action. Fantastic. I'm Cameron McDonnell. I'm from Rain & Horn Dubai. I'm the head of the commercial division. What we're going to give you today is the market update for Q1 2018 with a focus on Business Bay and the commercial office segment in the market. So in the first quarter of 2018, the total sales comprised for office space valued in at 1.15 million dirhams in complete office sales within the area, and you compare that to 2017 where we were looking at 180 million. So there was quite a significant drop in the value of properties transacted within the area. So we'll run through the reasons why I think that may have happened. So the median sales price per square foot within Business Bay for office space was right on around about 1,000 dirhams a square foot, or 1,027 to be exact. And the average size for office space within Business Bay was 888 square foot to be exact. So around about 900 square feet, which is sort of fitting in with the majority of the offices that are for sale, which is leading into more of the SME market, which I think we've discussed in previous videos. So the total number of transactions in Business Bay came in at 112 transactions for the whole of the first quarter. Now you compare that to 2017 in the same quarter, we had 108 transactions. So the numbers were slightly down, but in line of where it was 12 months ago. Now, if we want to compare that to, let's say, the quarter before, so Q4 2017, we saw a huge spike in the number of transactions, which came in 243 transactions. So almost half the amount of transactions happened in the first quarter of 2018 compared to the fourth quarter of 2017. What we probably saw that was many owners and many buyers wanted to transact before VAT came into play, which started on the 1st of January 2018. So that's probably why we saw a large number at the end of 2017, then the drop off in the start of the 2018 being the first quarter. When trying to understand the market in Business Bay, it's good to look back at the historical supply of office space that has come to the market. Now, the majority of the buildings in Business Bay, well, the office buildings anyway, were handed over prior to 2014, up to the end of 2014. So 57 buildings within Business Bay comprising 10.5 million square foot were handed over before the end of 2014. Now, post that, in the last 3 years, 10 more buildings have come to the market, bringing in another 5.7 million square foot into the market right now. So you need to understand that these buildings are generally sold to individual investors. Some investors will buy a full floor, maybe a half floor or a couple of floors, but the majority of this stock are owned by individual investors, mum and dads, people who have purchased into the market instead of buying a residential property. So it's good to understand that, because that's where you're going to see the reasoning behind the price drop, is because these investors are competing against each other as landlords, as sellers, trying to find a tenant, trying to find a buyer. Now, in the next 3 years, it's expected 6 more buildings to be handed over in Business Bay that will comprise some sort of commercial office space. There's only one, which is Canada Business Tower, which is purely commercial. The others are all generally mixed use or have been changed from commercial to residential. So the future supply, we're talking about another 1.53 million square foot coming into the market. So there's not a huge amount coming on, which is a good sign, because we're still trying to lease and sell the previous stock. So the current vacancy in Business Bay is currently sitting at around about 44%. So that's for all the buildings handed over from 2008 up until today. So 56% of the offices have been taken, 44 are still sitting there vacant, waiting for a new owner, waiting for a new tenant. What's interesting though is if we look at the offices that have been handed over post 2014, so the offices that have been in the market for the last 3 years, the vacancy of those offices is currently sitting at around about 68%. So if you're an owner with an office in a building that has just been handed over in the last 3 years and you haven't rented or you haven't sold, you've got a lot of competition if you're trying to find a buyer, if you're trying to find a tenant, because there's a lot more landlords and owners in the same position as you. And that's why we've started to see prices have come down to generally historic lows better deals are coming to the market as there's more competition for the sellers and also the landlords trying to find that tenant and that buyer. So my take on the Business Bay commercial market is that I think there's probably still going to be a little bit more of the price correction on a downward trend. But pricing is now getting to the point where it can't go much further down. For example, I've currently got a deal on the market, 50 dirhams a square foot for rent. Now, the owner is paying 17 dirhams a square foot for the service charge alone. So he cannot reduce his price any further, otherwise he's not going to be making any money out of the investment. So landlords are offering amazing deals in the market, but the prices aren't going to come down much further. So if you're a tenant or if you're a buyer, you need to understand that the prices are at historical lows. So if you do see a good deal, take it when you see it. Also, once again, also on the sales side, there is deals in the market now at 600 dirhams, 700 dirhams a square foot in some towers in Business Bay. Now, if you're looking purely at the cost of construction, purchase of land, cost to build, the value of money, and then also your marketing costs, those costs come in at around about 600. Maybe 550, maybe 650, depending on the quality of the plot, the quality of the construction. So if you're seeing prices at 600 dirhams a square foot or 700 dirhams a square foot, the understanding is that prices cannot go much further than that, and that's why there's not much supply coming on, because from a developer's standpoint, there isn't enough meat left on the bone for them to develop more. So that's why you're not seeing more supply. So once the occupancy starts to get higher, where we're seeing maybe 20% vacancy, maybe 25% vacancy, that's when I think personally, where we'll start to see the prices come up. Now, how long is that going to take? It might be 12 months, might be 18 months, but historically is telling us it will probably be around about that 18 months. Now, if something changes drastically, could be quicker, could take a little bit more time, but that's where the market is right now. So thank you for taking your time watching the video. I hope it was helpful. If you've got any questions, give me a call.